I can see myself on my watch. That's cool. Buenos tardes. Bonne nuit. I took like 2 years of French in college. Hello and good afternoon, my wonderful readers, and welcome back to my channel. If you're here, then you probably know who I am, and if not, that is okay, because you're here, this is my channel, and I am Haley Inez. Cue the credits. Good afternoon, my lovely readers. Well, it's afternoon for me. I don't know what time it is for you, but it's afternoon for me. My writing style is dark romance. I refer to it as dark romance because usually my characters fall in love towards the end and realize how they can't live without each other. And yeah, so that's what I refer to it as dark romance. The dark part comes from all the non-con violence, abuse, and bad curse words that are in the novel as well. So you mix that together and you get my genre, my writing style. So what goes into a dark romance novel that makes it dark romance? I say it takes a strong lead and it takes a mentally strong other lead. Usually for me, it's my male lead who is physically strong, my female lead who is mentally strong, because she's literally dealing with all of his crap. But I won't say that that is a rolling theme of my novels, because literally in the Blood King series, my female lead is just as strong as the male lead, if not possibly stronger. My novels usually contain non-con and violence and vulgar language and abuse, and not just physical but mental, because I want my characters to experience kind of literally the edge of their restraint. So I personally feel like that's what, those are the elements that go into my novels. I feel like personally, to have a good dark romance novel, you have to have conflict. You have to have two characters who absolutely have a reason to not like each other, and you have to force them together and just see what comes out of it. And if you've read any of my novels, you will realize this is a rolling theme in about 6 of them. So yeah, I think dark romance is outside of the realm of romance because it pushes boundaries, definitely. Now, I say romance because I'm a sucker for romance, and I don't think I could ever just write a straight up just abuse novel where there is no regret for things that happened and character development. People like changing. So the romance aspect of me comes from my characters eventually falling in love. I'm not saying anything that goes into my novels are okay, but that's, what makes it dark. We all know murdering someone isn't okay, but that's what goes into horror films. You get my gist. For it to become that, you have to add these things that are not okay, but are good enough you can put into a novel. I literally throw in the most intense character, and I put him against a character that he has literally never faced. And I'm going to use my pet series as an example because I love the relationship between Remus and Iris. I really do. Team Remus, by the way. But anyways, you have this all-powerful being who has the answer to no one, who has insane, magical powers and has no kind of relation to humans. And then you throw him into this world with, humans who he loathes, who he thinks is so weak and stupid, and they annoy, the crap out of him. And then suddenly you put this character who literally has the mental strength of an elephant. I guess I would use that as a comparison. And you put them against each other, and you literally have him trying to break her down, make her see that she is just like everyone else. And in the process, she ends up teaching him a lesson, and she ends up showing him oh crap, maybe I actually like this person. If you've read my novels, you see that literally the theme of it is that my male characters never really change. Their thoughts and opinions and attitudes towards the world remain the same, but what does change is the way that they treat the female character. They usually grow out of it somewhat. I think I just kind of have this soft spot for a man like being a certain way towards the world, but then changing the way that he is towards the one he loves. I guess that's like my soft spot, and that's why I throw that into my stories. And I know a lot of people hate that, and they're like, there's no redemption. But I'm not saying that there's redemption. I'm saying that she knows how he is, and she's like got feelings too, and she's literally accepting him as he is, and he is accepting her as she has grown to be. I fell in love with that concept when I was young because I read this story from the Twist Me series by Anna Zayers, and the character is literally not a good guy. He tells her all the time, he's like, I'm not a good person. He literally like kidnaps her, you know, they do stuff, and towards like the second and third book, she just realizes that she really has feelings for him, and she understands. She's like, I know he's not a good person. I know that this is who he is, but this is like who I'm accepting them to be. And I just fell in love with that concept. I fell in love like seeing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to put that in my stuff. And so I started making that a theme. I know a lot of people don't like the way that I do character development. They literally, if you go through the comment section, there's so many people that are like, there is no character development for Remus. And I know, I feel like I don't want that character developed. I feel like that character is put in the story. They're already developed. They already have the way that they are and their sense of self. So my thing about that character when I create it is putting this weaker character against them. That's the one who I want to have the character development. That's the one I want to get stronger. I want her to build this strength. I want her to eventually build this like relationship and make this character take a look and like open his eyes and literally like look at her and see her for what she is, which isn't what he thinks that she is. And I use romance lightly. Once again, I will say, let's say a relationship. You have to like build this trust between these characters because they don't like each other, they don't trust each other, and there's literally no connection between them. So you have to just slowly build this trust that morphs into something else. And once they're kind of ripped out of the situation, they realize their feelings for each other. They are forced to realize their feelings for each other. It's not something they ever would have acknowledged if some giant thing hadn't happened. My style also, I like getting my readers to root for the villain and the anti-hero, whatever you want to say, the antagonist. And the antagonist usually in the story is the character that everyone literally hates, Remus or Cassian or Luca. I'm trying to think of all my male characters that people hate. I think lately cinema has done a beautiful job of giving us villains or anti-heroes that we can root for, that we are like, oh, they actually have valid points. And no offense to recent cinema, but I've been doing that long before you guys. I like to humanize my characters in a way that most people kind of, I guess, don't. I noticed like a pattern that sometimes they don't really make characters relatable, but I feel like with Remus being relatable is that he has emotions towards humanity that are valid. And I see that a lot in the comment section because people are like, but did he lie though? Or they're like, you know, I hate to agree with him, but I do. It's like Remus's reasons for doing things are valid. They make sense. Now, while we might not agree with them because no one likes mass genocide, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? It's the same with the Blood King series. There's this war going on between these two races, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but part of it is justified. It was kind of difficult to do it with Luca because it was like, where were his redeeming qualities? But I make these characters and I give them emotions that most people can feel. So my style is making you hate but love. And I love doing that. I think that pulls you deeper into the story. I think it helps you better to enjoy the story for what it is. And I think it really makes you attached to characters, and it makes you genuinely care about what happens to them. I mean, I don't want to root for someone who's just like an asshole the whole time. You know, I don't want to root for someone who I feel no empathy with. I want to root for someone who I'm like, oh, I guess I like kind of agree. I kind of understand. I understand his like emotions. I understand why he's doing this. And I might not agree with his reaction to it, but I understand. And I think that's like a key point in creating characters in my novel, is making people feel like they can root for them. I would say that's what makes my writing my own style is I don't like writing assholes who aren't justified in their their fuckery. Like I don't. It was the same for Luca. I mean, you know, he was a jerk, but he was also raised to be that way. So it's just kind of like what are you going to do, you know? And the key part of making people feel like they can root for these characters is giving, like I said earlier, giving them a soft spot towards the female character that up to this point they've been really cruel and mean to. But it's like the small conversations and the small things that they do to make them happy, and the just little things that lead up to this point to where you're like, I guess, you know, like I'm happy on the inside. But in conclusion, I hope y'all love my writing style as much as I do. I really think that it's a great way to kind of step outside of your comfort zone and into this genre that is, I mean, there are more authors than just me that's literally just like pushing the boundaries, just seeing how far you can go and still make a cohesive story. Because honestly, not everything in life is rainbows and puppies and lollipops and happiness. Majority of life are hard situations and hard conversations and difficult decisions. And I really think that dark romance embodies this like perfectly. And I'm not saying that all dark romance, you know, embodies this, because let's be honest, some dark romance is literally just smut, which is fine. Some people enjoy smut. Not all dark romance is like super, you know, intense storylines. But I think that dark romance that forces you to take a look not only at like the characters, but at yourself and at the world around you, I think those are good stories. And I think that that's, you know, I think that embodies the beauty of dark romance. I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I think everyone should really think of it as it's just a genre. It's fiction. It's not real. It's a story to pass time and that people enjoy. And I think that when you think of it that way, I think it's a great way to lose yourself for a little bit. I've had so many readers that, you know, started out and I follow the comments through my stories, and they'll start out and they're like, oh, when's this gonna get better, and and where's the character, blah blah blah, and then they get to the end of the story and they're like, oh my gosh, this was amazing, this was like forced me to think about this had me, I had no idea what was gonna happen, this was so many twists and turns, this was just like a decisions that I couldn't imagine making. And that's what you want to do. You want to evoke emotions from your readers. I think that dark romance stories that do that are great examples of this genre and this writing style. And if you feel any like inkling of the emotion that I feel when writing it, when you're reading it, then I think I've done my job as an author, and there's nothing more to say. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. My links will always be in the description box below. Make sure you're following everything. If you want me to talk about anything, you want any specific topics, just comment below or send me a message and I will get it done. Like, we will have the discussion. We will make it another topic of discussion. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video once again, and I will see you next week.